Now presenting comedian
Ricky Gervais.
Let's say hi to Ricky Gervais. Ricky!
Hello.
Did you see the Oscars last night?
I didn't know. I've heard bits and pieces of the results, but I didn't watch it because it was very late here, of course.
Is that a big thing over there, or do you just could give a crap?
Well, it's it's the biggest award ceremony in the world, but that's probably not saying much. I don't think people lose sleep if they didn't watch the Oscars.
I just know we're kind of very self-centered over here, and the Oscars is like this big thing. And as I was driving the other day, and I'm listening to the news, and they're talking about the Oscars, and you know how it goes on for months before it even happens. And I'm thinking, what do some other countries think that we hold this huge party for movies we watch?
Well, it seems a bit celebrating your time off.
Yeah, celebrating movies.
Essentially to fill the leisure time because people are living too long now, and yet we celebrate that. It's strange. It's like having a party for the day before you go on a roller coaster, then sort of talking about it afterwards, and not only that, filming the 8 hours build up to going on that roller.
Yeah, on a bit of entertainment. You're then celebrating this entertainment.
But you've got to count it as an art form, and art helps the human psyche and develops our brain and our sociability. So maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's as important as life itself.
I kind of think of it, though, as one of the American overindulgences that we have over here that we do, because we as Americans sometimes expect the rest of the world. Like, I hear you, and then for a second I'm thinking, oh, yeah, they kind of watch the Oscars over there, but does it even mean, like, is it that big over there? Like, I'd expect to go over to...
I mean, it's not the difference between being American and English. It's what you're exposed to. Because I very much doubt that academics in Harvard are sitting down watching the red carpet shows for 9 hours.
Well, here too. But I'd be a little I'd be surprised. I'm one of these Americans that I'd be surprised to go over to England on July 4th and go, where are the fireworks? Because we're so used to it here.
But everyone's a little bit like that. Everyone thinks that the world revolves around them, and no more than the Americans and the British.
Right. And doesn't it really? Doesn't it really, though?
Well, obviously, I think so.
We don't even know who's in third
people
place.
That go abroad,
yeah,
and
who's
I never
in third?
try to speak their language. I point, and if or I talk a little bit louder. And if they can't understand me, I'm annoyed. I'm thinking, why can't they speak English?
Speak English.
Because just to remind you, it is called English. It's not called American.
It certainly is.
Although Hollywood helped English be probably still the widest spoken language in the world. I mean, I think that it's pretty much that and Ford made America the nation it is.
I understand how the English feel about that, and it is English and we speak English, but isn't it kind of like the little kid that you raised and then it grew up to be able to kick your ass and take the car out anytime we want?
I do think that. I think that you've done very, very well, and I'm surprised because I didn't think you'd amount to anything. But now I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you. It was all your work, raising us.
Done. It's and this is probably why I'm bilingual. I speak American and English.
Yes, very well.
Hey, Ricky, are you a stand-up too, or are you just an actor?
I wouldn't even call myself an actor. I certainly wouldn't call myself a stand-up. I don't know what I am really. I'm a comedian. There you go.
Dude, The Office. Your character in The Office. I mean, like I always thought De Niro in The King of Comedy was the best portrayal of an ass, but that character you play, it is amazing. It's an absolute ass in The Office. It is fucking brilliant, man.
Well, I love the reference to De Niro because when you're a fat bloke and you grow a goatee, you think secretly that you are going to look like De Niro and Angel Heart. It doesn't quite work that way, but well, thank you very much.
This is like a really weird question. One of my favorite moments ever captured on film. It's in the second episode, I think, of season 1, when the girl comes to work at the office and the phone rings and you answer it and try to be funny on the phone and you hang it up and the phone falls on the floor. Do you know the scene I'm talking?
The answering machine just showing off.
Yeah. Like he's trying to riff with the answering machine and he's like a fucking ass. He knocks it on the floor, and it's the most real, awkward comedy moment. Was that intentional that you knocked that off, or that just kind of happened?
Oh, of course. Well, we tried it about 5 times because I wanted it to land in the bin, and I can't even remember if it did in the end, but it got pretty close to it, I think.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, no, there's not a lot by mistake in the office. It's 99.9% scripted. You know, everything is it's rather like a cartoon. I always think of that in a cartoon. That a leaf doesn't fall by mistake in a cartoon. They've got to draw that leaf.
You're right.
And we drew everything.
Well, I'm even more impressed that it was scripted because I rewound that and watched it and rewound that, and it was so fucking organic and it was just absolutely perfect. And I cringed.
Well, that was the idea. But that was the challenge really, that we had to find performers that could make it look like it was ad-libbed, which is very strange because we were going for the hyper-real. I mean, the really important thing about that show was that everyone knew it was meant to be a documentary, because without that, these characters were quite boring, sad people. But when you suddenly realise that they're trying to be famous and they're showing off and they're acting up, it brings the really, really important ingredient to their characterization. So, you know, we cheated less than real documentaries. So it had to be hyper-real, because you had to suspend your disbelief long enough to think, oh, I get it, this is a real company somewhere, this really exists.
So was the process of that, was the process of creating that, because I heard that like what you would do is like a lot of you got together and kind of talked and the scripts got kind of got born of all your interaction, or was the script created first?
No. We handed the actors the finished script on the,
wow.
And then we'd go through it and we'd say, oh, can you say this word like that? You know, and then we take a cutaway of the face we wanted, and we pieced it together. It's absolutely, probably the most contrived piece of comedy you'll ever see.
You've had to have consulted with people that actually were in situations with these type of people, because as you watch, it is a pretty accurate portrayal.
For 7 years. I worked in a real office like that for 7 years, and of course, I came to it with a big bag of observations, and it started out as a straightforward observational comedy, plus trying to get some stuff off your chest, the other themes are quite obvious, men as boys, wasting your life. But one of my favourite themes of The Office, which I don't think people pick up on, from a selfish point of view, it was a comedy about comedy. It was a comedy about bad comedy and good comedy and popularity through comedy, and that was just something that that was so close to my heart. I'm fascinated by comedy. It's the only thing I'm a nerd about. I just wanted to nail a few things.
What do you think about the American version?
I really like it. Really like it. I think that it was always going to be difficult for them because they weren't the original. For better or worse, I think the first one you see is the one that you like, and they had to get over that sort of that prejudice, really. Yeah. But it's totally theirs now. I watch it not thinking, oh, that's me.
Right.
I think that they're great. I think Steve Carell is an amazing performer.
He really pulls it off.
Oh, he plays the perfect ass too. He really does.
He's great, but he's working so hard. It looks so natural as well, but you can see he's working on every little detail. He's got such finesse, and it's the minutiae that he cares about. And I've got to say, well done to NBC as well, because they could have panicked as a network on sort of prime time, and they could have watered it down. And I'm really proud of everyone. What I'm most proud of is I'm getting money for old rope.
I haven't seen it, the American version, but watching Ricky play the office manager and just the trying to be funny and everybody's pal to paint an ass who isn't funny but trying to be funny so awkward and perfectly, and the silence, the awkward fucking silence.
The silence is that's it, aren't they? The silence is. That's what
the looks.
It's excruciating in real life. When you've made a faux pas or joke, it's that 3 seconds afterwards.
You get nothing.
You wish that you could cut in real life, and we didn't even cut in fiction.
Dude, there's like a little thing you would do at times where, like, I can't even describe it. It's almost like when you crinkle your nose up, like, like a little nose crinkle, like after the joke. It was just
trying to squeeze anything out of it. Yeah.
And those interviews where you did, like, where you were just the guy talking to the camera and just trying to be humble, but you just knew you were so self-satisfied. Oh, what a boob. It was just...
What he's trying to do, he's trying to show the world, you know, life didn't turn out like he thought, but now he thinks, well, this is my chance. Now the world can see what a great bloke I am. A, philanthropist. B, C, leader. You know, these are how you think.
Fantastic. It's just
what
a
did
great show.
What did you grow up watching that you're you know, comedy geek, as you put it?
American stuff.
Really?
Lauren Hardy is you know, comedy began and ended there. They pretty much nailed it 100 years ago. I don't really think it's been improved upon, really. Styles have changed a little bit and sensibilities, but they pretty much nailed it. The thing about Lauren Hardy is it's what, you know, when I came to the office, I wanted to sort of do comedy plus. I didn't just want it to be funny. I wanted it to sort of resonate and wanted to get under people's skin. And Lauren Hardy taught me that because you cared for them. You didn't just laugh at them. They were precarious. You knew they could get hurt at any minute, and that's what made you love them. It carried on
going
from
back
there,
a ways.
you know, Marx Brothers, through the, you know, 50s and 60s stuff, Cheers, MASH, through to modern day stuff like Arrested Development, The Simpsons, obviously pretty much the greatest TV comedy ever.
Nothing much, no real English influences though, comedy-wise. I mean, obviously people would think Monty Python or something. But...
No, I loved Monty Python, but it wasn't really influenced because that was, you know, that was quite postmodern and surreal, and but you know, that's not. I love Monty Python and I love Fawlty Towers, but it wouldn't be an influence. I mean, I suppose the English influences would be things like, oh God. This is hard.
Shows like All in the Family, which here were so popular, I think is taken from Man About the House, which is a British show, and then also
that was very, very broad. Again, there was nothing to really influence me there. There's a show called Rise and Fall of Reginald Perrin, which was very that
was on here, yeah.
Yeah, that I suppose that would there would be an influence there. But certainly, you know, I went through that lineage that went through John Cleese and Monty Python. You know, I acknowledged Fawlty Towers as, I think, the best British sitcom of all time. And, you know, it influenced on, I suppose it influenced me on the fact that, you know, I knew how long they crafted it, and then they got out while they were on top. So that's certainly an influence on me. But comic sensibilities are all American, really.
It would influence...
real life and American programming.
It would influence me to use video inside and film outside. Because for some reason, they always did that. I loved when he ran out of the place, and it was obviously done on video inside the set, and then he'd run out to his car, and it's just done on film, like grainy old film. It was hysterical. Watching that on Channel 13 here.
Have you found, like, I don't know enough British stand-up, but have you? It seems like a more British stuff is more absurdist and kind of, you know, just like Steve Martinish in that it's really ridiculous. And I'm not shitting on it. It's just a different vibe. And it just seems like a lot of it isn't very socially angry.
There has been a spate where, you know, there's an awful lot of, you know, surrealism, flights of fancy, weird stuff like, I was born on the inside of a wasp. Don't worry, madam, I'm not going to pour cheese in your eyes. and I'm thinking, well, yeah, good. I mean, I don't know what that is. I think that comedy has to really, connect on an empathetic level. I think you have to empathise with that person to care about them. And comedy's contextual, and you can go out and make funny noises and fall over, and it's all right. I mean, I don't even like, you know, 101 brilliant one-liners in a sense. You know, you laugh, but someone could throw in a fake punchline and you'd laugh because of the rhythm. I want to feel that I've been touched in some way, not in a bad way.
Right.
Not like you do in a public toilet. I don't mean that sort of touching.
That's kissing, by the way.
But I feel like I want to have connected with the comedy in some way.
Hey, Ricky, we got to talk about your podcast. It's one of the most downloaded things on the internet.
In the world.
In the world. Sorry, in the world. No, Ricky Gervais does a...
That's not saying much, though, is it, really?
It's the Ricky Gervais Show.
One podcast. For all I know, it's the only podcast in the world. It's rather like Alexander Graham Bell boasting about his phone bill. I don't think there's an awful lot of competition.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of crappy podcasts out there, I'll tell you that.
I hear it's getting...
I've never listened to a podcast except mine.
How many downloads is that getting?
It's got so far 12. I think it's got over 5 million so far.
Damn.
In about 13 weeks.
I think you get the show off audible.com, right?
And iTunes.
And iTunes.
How often you do it?
Once a week, just
Once a
half
week?
hour once a week.
Audio or video also?
Well, it's audio at the moment. We are going to do a video one.
That's what everyone's doing now. It's getting a video podcast.
Yeah, I just want to show the world Carl Pilkington's head, really, because I talk about it, but I really want to take a camera around him so you can see the 360 degrees, the spherical nature of his cranium is quite beautiful.
What's the podcast all about? Like, what kind of show are you guys doing?
Well, it's three blokes in a room, myself, Stephen Merchant, who created the office with me, and Carl Pilkington, a man who is so stupid I can't believe he's still alive. He's a man who believes everything he hears and reads, as long as it's about apes that can ride horses and do operations. He doesn't really care about the real things in life. He gets most of his sort of knowledge from the Flintstones, and he's just a fascinating man to throw stuff at. I feel like Anthony Hopkins in the Elephant Man. I feel like I want to take him round and just show the world this eighth wonder. So it's all about that, really.
But you don't want to hurt him, kind of. You want to protect him and show him off at the same time, like Hopkins did.
Him. I want to, I sort of want to squeeze him, but like you want to squeeze a kitten, but you mustn't squeeze too hard. That's how I feel about Carl Pilkington.
The Elephant Man was a good movie, by the way.
It's Carl Pilkington's favourite movie, and I said, why? He said, well, one, you know what you're going to get. It says what it is on the label. He said, two, it's sad. And when I said, pressured him, he said, well, remember that bit where he goes to the Royal College of Surgeons and he strips him off, and he's going, you see the disformation of the head, the skull, the back, the arms, the legs, the bone structures. Ironically, the only thing that's totally normal are the genitals. And Carl went, think of that, the one thing you would want to have like an elephant, and he gets the head. So that's why it's his favourite.
Hey, let's go to John in Jersey. He's a huge fan of the podcast. John.
Yeah, Ricky, I want to say the podcast is brilliant. Carl Pilkington, guys, he has to get on to XM. Ricky should have his own show. Carl Pilkington, if it's an act, it's brilliant. If it's not, he's the dumbest man in the world.
He's like that in the pub. So unless he's acting every minute of the day, including his dreams, because he often wakes up and he says things like to his girlfriend, "Is the earth falling?" So unless it's 24 hours a day, I don't think he's acting.
Ricky, if we have to pay for it coming up, I'm there. I'm paying you. I'm giving you money. I know you love the money.
It's only I think $2, because we were stitched up, because we gave it away free for the first 12 weeks, and we never dreamt we'd get like 500,000 downloads a week.
You get a bandwidth bill.
We had to start charging for it, not because we thought how much money we could make, but because of course it's costing us money, and we didn't want to take in advertising and have a sponsor, because we want the freedom, and this just gives us more freedom. People don't have to buy it. But it's there, and it's going to be even more free of burdens. We can say anything we want. We don't need to take advertising. We don't need sponsorship, and we can say exactly what we want. And I just think we'd rather lose 90% of our listeners, but people love it, because we don't do it for the money. We don't do it for anything other than the sheer joy of the creative process. So. Please listen if you like, and Carl can get some money.
All right, let's go to Mike in Pennsylvania. Mike.
Hey, Ricky, I'm a big fan of the podcast. Now, are you sure you're not feeding him, lines? Because he comes up with these things like, I could eat a knob at night, and it's just hilarious.
But if you go back and listen, it's totally organic. The only point he was trying to make was that in this particular program, they have to do this bush tucker trial as soon as they wake up, and he was thinking that, as opposed to thinking I'd never eat a kangaroo testicle or a kangaroo penis, he thought, oh, it's even worse at breakfast time. And now I bet he's the only person who thought that. No one else is going, oh, look, it's breakfast. They'd go, look at that, it's disgusting. I'm not going to eat a testicle. And then to go, I could eat a knob at night was remarkable. So we said, right, if there's any house DJs out there, and I think there's about 70 remixes out there now. So very catchy. It's a very catchy lyric. I could eat a knob at night. Never mind your yesterdays or
yeah, that trash.
Just, I could eat a knob at night. I bet Paul McCartney's kicking himself.
Well, Heather Mills isn't kicking him.
Oh, God damn, Jimmy.
Ricky Gervais says Cajun.
That's royalty, Jimmy.
Yeah. Let's go to O-Town. Last question for Ricky Gervais. Jeff.
Hey, Ricky, your show Extras on HBO is brilliant. It's I think at least as good as The Office, and I haven't heard whether or not they're going to renew it. Is that going to come back again?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're filming it in June and July, and it's scheduled to go out in the fall in England, and I assume there or thereabouts on HBO. So I'd guess October.
I tell you what you do best. You make people you make comedy uncomfortable, and that's what's great about Extras. You're willing to put yourself out there and make yourself or as a character look like a complete ass. And
that
feel very sad, very uncomfortable for you. It's fantastic.
I'm uncomfortable with them. I've suffered from my art, and now I want everyone else to.
All right, Jeff. Thank you.
By the way, Ricky, it's scheduled.
Of course,
scheduled.
I was speaking English again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and it's aluminum.
What did he say?
I learned when I first come to your country. I only speak English.
Really?
But now I learn from your TV, American.
Aluminium.
Talk to the hand.
Very good. You'll learn, you kids.
Yo, dog pound.
Very good.
All right, Ricky.
Ricky, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. My pleasure.
You're great, dude. You really are brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ricky. Take care, man.
Cheers. Bye.
You want entertainment. Wholesome, interesting entertainment.
Yeah.
Shut your face.
I'm a pervert. You love cock!
Just take your hands and brush them gently on your nipples and just zone out.
Hope she's screaming like that later in an alley.
My junk smells like Wayne Newton.
So you're saying you make love to the dead?
Dresses make me want to get fucked up the butt.
It's the Opie and Anthony Show.
Opie and Anthony.